It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege of interviewing the UT Arlington's assistant softball coach, Coach Jo Koons. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in coaching in college softball?
Yeah, definitely. I just fell in love with the game at a really young age, and I think my dream for as long as I can remember was to be a professional athlete and then just wanted to go into coaching to give back. I had a lot of cousins growing up, so I always felt like I was a coach for them, just in whatever respective sports they were playing, and then started coaching a little bit more seriously in high school and then throughout my college career, and then just from there knew that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to coach college softball, so after college just had the opportunity to get right into it. So it was really really awesome, and I'm really fortunate that that's how it kind of worked out for me.
What was that experience like going to Utah State and getting to play college softball?
Oh, it was everything. It was my dream since I was 8 years old to play Division One. I think my dream school was like UCLA in Arizona, but I couldn't have worked out better that I ended up at Utah State. It was definitely the perfect fit for me. I wasn't a heavily recruited athlete in high school, and honestly, I almost went to a JUCO, and then Utah State found me Father's Day after I graduated high school and offered me to come on a visit, and ended up making me an offer and just seemed like a good fit. I wanted to play at the Division 1 level, and like I said, it turned into something better than I could have expected. But the best part about it was that I got to live my dream every day, and I never took that for granted. Gave everything I had to that place and that school, and I'm the Aggies' #1 fan. I always say like I'm the proudest alum because they gave me that opportunity gave me so many more opportunities and the opportunity to meet so many people, and some of my best friends today came from there, and so there's just nothing like college athletics and the atmosphere that you're surrounded in, the opportunities you can have, and honestly, just get to play the game at such a high level was such a gift.
What was that experience like getting to put on that uniform and representing them? And what were some of your college accomplishments?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just never took the opportunity for granted. It was the best thing ever suiting up, and I remember specifically some games, like we played some really cold games, some games in the snow, and I remember like standing out there at shortstop with my hand in my pocket, being like, I'm living the dream, I'm living the dream. Um, because that is what you dream of. That's what you work for. You work so hard, and just having, like I said, your teammates around you, it just makes putting on that jersey is just even more important for them, for for my family that I was representing, my friends, like where I came from. Like it's just such a big platform you're put on. My college accomplishments, I don't know that I had many. I would say the coolest thing about my career is that I started all 9 positions in my college career. I only threw one pitch on senior day, but I legitimately started at the other 8. So I think that that kind of just fueled my love for defense. And what I wanted to do was become a defensive coach, which I have the privilege of doing now. And just that, true talent is flexible. And if you are able to play, they're like play anywhere, they're going to find a place for you on the field. And so I knew that I never wanted to miss a game. So just having that versatility was just such a cool experience and something that I try to, instill within our athletes today too.
Coming out of college, what was that experience like going to Stanford and becoming the assistant coach there?
Yeah, I think anytime you graduate college and you want to go into coaching, you're like, I've been playing this game my whole life. I know everything about it. And then you show up and you try to hit fungo and you're like, wow, I really suck at this. Um, so it was really humbling, especially coming from a mid-major into the Power Five. Luckily for me, I was surrounded by great people. Rachel Hansen was my boss at the time, and just even her giving me the opportunity, I'm a young 22-year-old, just graduated college. I didn't know any more more than I knew. And she just took me under her wing and guided me and taught me so much. And then Dorian Shaw was also on staff, and she's still one of my best friends to this day. And just, I remember following her around. I hardly spoke. I just wanted to learn everything I could learn. And they pushed me, they pushed me to do things that were uncomfortable. They put me in situations that I might fail, but they would be there to help me if I did. And I ultimately did learn how to hit fungo and throw front toss, even though it was really uncomfortable at times. But yeah, just being able to go into such a high level right out of college, it just taught me so much so fast. And I'm like forever thankful for that experience. And like I said, just having two of the best in the game to teach me was such a gift.
While at Stanford, what was it like getting to coach in the Pac-12 and getting to go against teams like Oregon Ducks and UCLA?
Yeah, it was so fun. I mean, I had gotten a chance to play against a couple of those teams, but to coach against them every weekend, I mean, it's the biggest argument in softball. What's the best conference, the Pac-12 or the SEC? But I guess that won't be the debate anymore now that the conferences are realigning. But it was so cool. I mean, you're just up against the best of the best athletes all the time, and every day and every game is such a dogfight, and it could flip in at any moment. But getting just experience like having that high level of competition every single weekend was just really cool. We actually opened up at the Jane, which is the Oregon Stadium. We were the first game to ever play there. So it was us against Stanford against Oregon, which was really cool. And then kind of on the flip side of that, ended up coaching at Oregon. So it was just cool getting to be on both sides of the field there.
What was that experience like getting to leave Stanford and then going to become a head coach for the first time?
Yeah, it was awesome. Like I said, I feel like I gained a lot of experience. I kind of knew I wanted to get my feet wet in head coaching. At least, if anything, it would be on my resume for the future if I ever decided I wanted to go back into it. Coaching at the JUCO level was, again, just such a humbling experience. Those kids taught me so much just about their true love of the game. None of those kids are on scholarship. They really just show up because they love to play and they were motivated to do their best for you. We also only had 11 players on roster, so learn how to get creative with lineups, learn how to motivate them. Just prayed that nobody ever got sick or hurt, and somehow we made it through a season without any of that happening. And just the memories. I mean, the stuff you do in JUCO is just so different from Division 1 or the Power Five. Like the facilities, the travel, like none of it is top tier. And those kids just grind it out every day and give you their best. And like I said, it was such a great experience just knowing that if I could do it there, like I could do it anywhere.
While as a head coach at Lazarus College, what were some of your accomplishments as a head coach in building a program?
Yeah, I think probably the biggest thing is just the recruiting class that came in after me. I worked pretty hard to get more kids on campus for the following year, even though I ended up leaving. Uh, we led the state in like triples and steals, I'm pretty sure. And it was kind of a big deal since we weren't fast and we didn't, like I said, we didn't have a lot of kids on roster, but one of the coolest parts about that was that my high school coach, she coached at a JUCO at home, and so we got to play against each other twice, which was just something that was so special. I mean, I knew it was special then, but looking back at it now, like it was even more special just being able to be on the same field as her and coaching against her. And we're still, extremely close to this day. And she, is such a great role model for me as a wife, as a mom, as a coach. So that's something that was really special. I know that's not necessarily an accomplishment, but it was just something that was really cool about being there.
As a coach, what was that feeling like getting to return back to your alma mater of Utah State and becoming assistant coach?
It was great. I can't describe it. I love that place. Like I said, it gave me so much. It's continues to give so much. I just am so proud to be an Aggie, so proud to be an alum from there. There's just nothing like stepping on campus at your alma mater and getting to help lead that program into where the direction that you dreamt that it always would go. I hope that someday in the future I get to experience it again. I don't think I can really put it into words, and I don't know that anybody can until they've done it themselves, but there's just a different sense of pride. Not that you're not proud and not that you don't care about where you're at. It's just different when, you played there. It's just like a sense of like, I don't know, you like a loyalty and that you want it to be so great because you also were there. So yeah, really special, really was fortunate to experience it.
For you as a coach, what was that feeling like stepping back onto that softball field, but now as a coach versus being a player?
Yeah, super cool. Also the field has changed so much since I played, which was, so funny. They have like a giant scoreboard now. They have like actual like padding on their wall. They have turf outfield. I mean, so much has changed in Logan since when I went to school there. So just seeing the growth was just really cool. And it continues to grow. They have a new head coach now. And so just excited to see the direction he's going to take the program. But yeah, it's just something different. Like I said, it's just a feeling of like such great pride and like those relationships with those athletes. It's like they are also going to be alum. So we are all alum together. I actually just got back from coaches convention and I was talking with a couple of them and I had coached them and now they are coaching and we're still all alumni from Utah State. So just really awesome that that's kind of how the softball world works.
How was that experience like for you going back to that Pac-12 and going to Oregon Ducks and getting to become a volunteer assistant?
Yeah, it was great. I thought it was an opportunity I couldn't pass up. I had no intentions of leaving Utah State. Like I said, it was my home. It's where I kind of like it was kind of the dream job. And I just thought the experience I would gain from going back and being in the Pac-12, working under Coach Lombardi, working with Justin Schultz was it was invaluable. And I still think to this day that it was. I got to coach some really great athletes. And they helped shape the program and the future of the Oregon Ducks program. And so seeing Haley Cruz and Samaria Diaz and Brooke Yanez and Allie Bunker and Tara McGowan, I mean, those are kids that like they're gonna be remembered forever in that program. And just like I said, competing at that high level as a coach. And, Coach Lombardi gave me the defense for the very first time. That was my first, besides being a head coach, that's the first time as an assistant that I ran the whole defense by myself. And we had really great defenders. It was really fun. Alyssa Brito played for me. She's at Oklahoma now, but she was a freshman there my second year at Oregon. And so just the elite athletes that they are, it was incredible. So getting to coach them every day just made me a better coach. So yeah, couldn't say enough about that place and that program.
What were some of the things that you took from your time at Oregon Ducks to help you to come to Utah Arlington?
Yeah, just the high level of caliber, what it looks like to run a high level defense. When you play at a mid-major, you know what a mid-major defense looks like. And then when you go to the Power Five, it's like it's just different, right? Those athletes are different, they move different, they can move faster. And it's like, how do you get the mid-major kids to be at that level? So that's probably the biggest thing I took away, just different drills that I came up with, different ways to get them to be quicker, to be faster, because the game doesn't change. The level just the level and the speed just increase. So the IQ of those athletes at Oregon and Stanford, like they taught me so much about how to like relay that information to our mid-major kids. And I'm a mid-major kid myself, so I just love being the underdog and like instilling that like within them. And so and I think the ability to like not be afraid to compete against anybody. I think that's the thing about when you're in the Power Five. It's like I said, it's a dogfight every weekend. You don't get a break. You're playing UCLA, you're playing Arizona. And I think to instill that within our athletes is the same thing. Who cares? Whoever we're going up against, we're gonna go beat them. So those are probably the biggest things.
Coming to UT Arlington, what was that feeling like getting to step onto that softball field for the first time as a coach?
Yeah, it was awesome. We have a beautiful facility here. I actually played here. I think we played here my sophomore year. We ended up being in the same conference. So it was just really neat to come back and get to see the growth that UT Arlington has had since I played here. The administration, the people here, I mean, they make this place the greatest place ever. Just everybody's on the same page. Everybody wants to help. Everybody wants to be involved. It's just it really is truly such a family environment. And a high level family environment. Like, don't get me wrong, like we're not all out here just singing kumbaya, but we're here to push each other and help each other and, empower, all the athletes here, all the coaches here to be the best they can be. So just really thankful for our crew here and all that they do for us and continuing to make this place as great as it can be.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you started to help to build for the softball program at UT Arlington?
Sure. Yeah. A big piece of that is my head coach, Cara Dill. She was an All-American at Kentucky. She coached at LSU. She's coached at Texas A&M, and then she came here to be the head coach. So, like, just her resume right there. She's been in the Power Five her whole career. She knows what the high level looks like. She wanted to bring that here. She's been in the World Series 4 times. I mean, not many people can say that. And so that's exactly what we wanted to bring here. We wanted to bring a championship culture here, and so it's laying those foundation every single day for at least last year. That was kind of our goal. And then now this year, it's like you're just continuing to build off of that. And, part of that's recruiting, part of that's, developing the athletes that are here. It's a standard you're holding them to every single day to be the best they can be. It's a lot of work. Like it's not all butterflies and roses. Like you have to build relationship with them to, get them to be their best every single day. And then the same thing with our staff. Like you're continuing to build relationship with one another, pushing each other, coming up with ideas, making sure we're all on the same page about where we're going and how we want to move this place forward. So, the plan is to be a team that's in a regional every year. And so, we just continue to build that day after day.
Who are some of the teams in your conference that you compete against each week?
Yeah, so we're in the WAC. So we're kind of a little bit all over. There's the more western side. So it's like Seattle, Cal Bap. There's the Utah schools, Utah Valley, Utah Tech, Southern Utah. And then Grand Canyon is on that side. And then there's a lot of Texas schools, Abilene, Tarleton, us, SFA, and I'm probably missing one. They'll come to me later.
What is that like getting to go coach against the team in Seattle?
We have not played Seattle since I've been here. I've played them in the past, but they're actually hosting the WAC tournament this year. So we'll go up there at the end of the year, and then they actually come to us this year. But he's a great coach. I think he's put together a great program up there, and we have a lot of good programs in our conference. So it's about competing against them. And at the end, we tell our team like you have to be your best that you've been all year at the end of the year, which is May for us. So that second week of May, like it's all bets are off. Like you got to go out and play your best ball for 5 days to get a bid to go to regionals.
What is it like getting to go against teams in the state of Texas and coaching against those teams?
It's awesome. I think probably the coolest thing about being here in Texas is that it is such a big state. There are so many schools. And then on top of that, like I'm from California originally. So a lot of Southern California athletes knew each other because they played against each other a lot. And I would say it's similar here in Texas. Like a lot of these athletes know each other because they've played against each other a lot. And so I think that's kind of the cool part about being here and recruiting here. It's like, oh, a lot of these athletes that are playing in Texas because you also recruited them or saw them out recruiting. And like I said, just we have a lot of great coaches in our conference. So just continuing to see the game grow, like that's the best part about all of this. Softball, like I said, has changed so much in the last 10, 15 years, and it's just going to keep changing and growing. It's just awesome to see so many universities and people putting so much into our programs. It's really fun to see.
What is that home game atmosphere like at UT Arlington?
Well, I can tell you the best game to come to is when the elementary school from across the street comes over because it's so loud. Those kids love it here and love to show up and show out for the Mavs. But I think it's a continual process we're trying to build here, an atmosphere. Baseball's doing the same thing. We have a great relationship with our baseball staff, and they're right next door. So it's really awesome that we're kind of growing this, the awareness of UT Arlington sports together. And so, we have big plans for what we want to do in the future with our fans and our stands and all of those things. So just continuing to, get people more involved. That's kind of the goal right now. But yeah, it's awesome. I mean, there's no feeling better than playing at home.
In your first few years at UT Arlington, what have been some of the big things that you've been able to accomplish so far?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just kind of what we talked about, like the culture change, right? You're continuing to shift a culture, just seeing these athletes grow, seeing them change so much from where they started when they got here and where they're continuing to go. I just think that that's coaching. It shouldn't be about the transactions. It's not necessarily, I mean, yes, we all want to win, but it's about seeing the transformation in the athletes, not just athletically, but off the field as well. Like those are the biggest accomplishments, like hands down.
As an assistant coach, when you go out on the road recruiting, what are some of the things that you look at in those prospective student athletes?
Yeah, I mean, kids that love the game, I think more and more it's harder and harder to find just kids who love to play because they love to play. There's been a lot of pressure in our society about, social media and scholarships and, what does mom and dad want and what does grandpa and grandma want, or why am I doing this? Am I doing it just for the TikTok? Like, I want athletes who want to play the game for the pure love of playing the game. So that's probably the biggest thing I look for when I go out there. It's like you can tell when kids are doing it for the right reasons and when they're not. And so that's one of the biggest things. And then just some intangibles, obviously you got to be able to do something that stands out. Like everybody's out there playing ball, so I can't go into too many specifics due to rules, but like I said, just a passion for what you do every day, because at the end of the day, like when you come here, like this is what you do every single day. You got to be able to show up to practice, you show up to play, and there's great things about it, but there's times when it's a grind, and are you going to be able to do that day after day? And if you don't love the game, I don't think that you're going to enjoy your time here.
At UT Arlington, what does the official visit look like for those prospective student athletes coming on campus?
Yeah. Again, some rules around this, so I can't say too much, but it's a little bit different for every athlete. I think, depending on who they are, the time of year we're in, what we're about. But I can tell you one thing's for certain, you're going to be around our staff, and I can't say enough great things about our staff. I've talked about our head coach a little bit. She's incredible, just an incredible leader, incredible human, just cares so much about her staff, the people around her, and of course our athletes. And then we have two other assistants on staff, Fale Lua and Elizabeth Mason, and they're also just incredible people with incredible energy. And so getting to have athletes around the four of us is it's fun, and then we have a good time with it. So I can guarantee you that will happen on an official visit. And then of course you're going to get to meet the team and see the facilities and all of that good stuff.
As an assistant coach, what is it like seeing those freshmen put on that UT Arlington jersey for the first time versus your seniors putting on that softball jersey for the last time?
Yeah, I think it's exciting for two different reasons, right? The freshmen are pumped because it's their start of their career and they just have so much to look forward to. And the seniors are excited because it's their last chance to go out and just, do the thing. So definitely two different perspectives, but at the same time, like I think that's what makes it great. That's what makes team dynamic great. The freshmen help remind the seniors of where they once were, and the seniors help remind the freshmen of where they're going to be. And so it's just really great team chemistry kind of. And for the seniors, I think, they put a lot of emphasis on those freshmen. Like, this is it for me, so go hard, go all out. And that's what makes it great.
What is it like seeing those freshmen achieve those milestones in their career and those seniors achieve those last year milestones in their career?
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, there's no words to say it. I think, like I said, freshmen, it's obviously way more exciting probably for them because the future is still ahead of them. So that's kind of just the start. So it's exciting, but there's still more to come. And then for the seniors, I mean, it's it's bittersweet, right? Like you're so happy for them and then sad that they're leaving. But I mean, they're both great, and they're going to go out and do great things in the world. And that's honestly like what I said, like it's a transformation relationship. So hopefully, by the time they leave here, they are confident in whatever they choose to do next. And, we get to be a part of their lives forever.
As a coach, what is it like getting to see them go on and go into playing professional softball, whether it's Athletes Unlimited or the national team route?
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing in our sport right now. We're trying to grow that side of our game. There aren't very many opportunities for people to go out and play pro. And obviously Team USA it's back in the 2028 Olympics now, but that's a ways off. So just continuing to help develop the pro game for our current student athletes to have the opportunity to go and do that. Both of our assistants on staff, Elizabeth and Fa, they both play professionally, which is really awesome for our student athletes to see. And hopefully, as the game continues to grow and hopefully, end up getting a contract with Major League Baseball, kind of like the WNBA, that again, that they can just provide more of these student athletes with the opportunity to go and play pro.
What is it like as a coach seeing that your players go on and go into college coaching just like you have?
It's so rewarding. Like I said, I just got back and seen a couple of them, and it's so special because they'll tell you things that you told them as a coach, and they're like, that made such a difference in my life. And it just puts things in such perspective, because you can get so, I mean, I forget all the time why, you just get so caught up in the day to day. You get caught up in what you're doing, you get caught up in practice. And just to hear, that there were things that I said, there was reasons that they wanted to go into coaching because of, because of how I coach them. It's really special.
What are some of your future plans for the UT Arlington program moving forward?
Yeah, like I said, we want to be a championship team every year. We want to be competing in a regional. So that's the biggest goal. I think, throughout that, I hope that we're together as a staff for a long time. I hope that, we keep getting phenomenal athletes to be in here. Like I said, our administration is phenomenal. So just continuing to build on that. And, that's the plan. The plan is to be great every year.
What advice would you give those first year freshmen that are entering their first year of college softball?
Yeah, it's enjoy the journey. Like, you're gonna fail a lot. I think that's the biggest thing, like, in athletes anywhere today. It's like parents also, they don't help with this. They don't let their kids fail enough. Like, you're gonna fail. We play a game of failure. And like everybody says that, but do you really understand it? Like, we're gonna fail all the time. So what's gonna keep you coming back? What's gonna keep you moving forward? Because if you play this game for success, you're never gonna be rewarded by that, because you fail way more than you succeed. You have to play it because you truly love it. You find joy in it. You find joy in the process. You trust the process, and you love the feeling of the outcome when the process works. So just like I said, falling in love with the process of it, and the competitive side of it, and just keep competing with yourself to be better every day, and dealing with that failure. That's the biggest thing, that is like the transition for freshmen to learn, because you're so used to being successful. And college is a different level. So it's just continuing to stay in that grind and know that, like, it's going to pay out.
What advice would you give those college softball players out there looking to play professionally, whether it's Athletes Unlimited, the MPF, or overseas?
Yeah, I think, it all just starts in college. It's how much work do you put in? Obviously your success in college is a big piece of that. So I think it's just not looking too far ahead. I think it's staying in the present, and then, it's finding the resources available to kind of pursue that side of the dream, if that's what you want to go after. I think fortunately for our team, like I said, we have two of our staff members that are playing, and I think, not everybody has that, but yeah, the biggest thing is just perform where you're at and enjoy it where you're at, and don't look too far ahead.
What advice would you give those players looking to get into college coaching after their playing career?
Mm. Yeah, kind of the same thing. I think just surrounding yourself with people who've done it before you, and kind of getting in touch with them. But there's so many resources, there's so many avenues about going into college coaching. I mean, there's websites, and you can look at what jobs are available and all of those different things. But I think the biggest thing about going into college coaching is knowing why you're going into it. Like, because it's really easy when you're a player, like, it's just different. Like, you just play, and it's really all about you. And I mean, yes, it's about your teammates, but you don't have to worry about yourself. When you're coaching, you're worried about 24, 26 other people all the time. And so are you really ready to step into that role, and step into it for the right reasons? Because this game, this role that you're in is such a servant role. You serve and serve and serve, and more than you ever will receive. And that's what is so awesome about it. But I think that is my biggest piece of advice. It's like, make sure you go into it because you want to give, and you want to give a lot, because you give way more than you get, which as an athlete is like totally the opposite. As an athlete, you get a lot more than you give.
What advice would you give those coaches out there that are looking to become assistant coaches or even a head coach?
Yeah, I think just keep learning, keep learning, keep serving, and just be passionate about what you're doing. I think, and don't give up the fight. This coaching is not, it's not for the weak, for a lack of a better term. You're going to experience a lot of highs, a lot of lows. It's really tiring and exhausting because you give so much, to it. And I think it's just being resilient, when things happen that you don't expect, when, the chemistry isn't great, when you have to move or change jobs, like, there's there's a purpose for it, and there's like things to learn from everywhere that you're at and every experience that you've had, and like, how do you change that and take it into where you're going next?
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the UT Arlington softball program at?
Yeah, we're on everything: X, Instagram, Facebook. It's UTA softball SB. I'm pretty sure it's like, that's That's our handles. And then mine is Coach Koons, I believe. I think my Instagram's like Koonsy20 or something, but it's all relative. Just look at my name. I'm all over Google.
Thank you again.
Scary.
Thank you again, Coach Jo Koons, for your interview, and best of luck in your future with the UT Arlington as the assistant softball coach.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Jo Koons, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.